Hi everybody, hi every spirit, welcome everyone to the channel. Today, let's talk about what are archangels. Before we do that, leave a like and subscribe. Use the links down below to reach my content and to get services with me as well. So we already did a past video talking about angels. I will leave it here so you can click on it and it will be in the description down below as well. Because this video will just like develop a little bit on what are angels, right? So the first thing to understand is really quickly what are angels is basically you and your ability or the ability of your spirit to go further, to do something better, to go and look for some balance or some new ways to do something. Because for an example, it's not because something is working that it's the right thing to do. So it will be considered angelic to leave a situation that even though it's working and it's comfortable, for an example, might be not the best way or the best thing to be doing for you and your personal growth and for the well-being of your surroundings and the ones around you that you care about them, right? So an archangel basically is just a more developed quote-unquote angel, right? But what does that mean and why is it called an archangel? What's the difference between just an angel and an archangel, right? So first, let's explain how so is an archangel a better angel and why do we call it arch. So arch, it's because it makes an arch, right? It makes an arc. And what does it represent? That represents going above and then coming back to be able to relate and realistically do and communicate that with others. So an archangel is an angel, an angle that goes above your current perspective, your current circumstances. So an archangel is basically a spirit that is able to see above or further or with more scope than all the spirits around them. Because if you are an archangel, or if a spirit is an archangel, it represents the one that can go the most above. Because if you can do like this as a spirit, and there is another spirit that can do higher than you, aka they have more perspective, they have more awareness, then they're gonna be the archangel. There are multiple archangels, but for an example, in the Bible or in Christianity, there is 4 archangels, right? And they represent the 4 directions because those are the most distinguished and more abrasion ways for the spirit to develop. And then in a further video, we'll talk more specifically about each individual archangel. But they represent the most or the furthest a spirit has been in our realm, because we all relate certain mentalities and desires, and there are 4 directions, 4 cardinal ways for you to be seen and develop as a spirit. North represents fresh and newness. South represents old comfort, familiarity, and knowing how to do something. East represents the start or innovating something or seeing others, being aware of others or of things and others first than others. And then West represents the end, more development. You're not just so worrying about the first lights or about the first things that you see. You wait until the sun sets so you can see all the stars and you can see all the things that shine in the dark as well. So those are the 4 main ways for a spirit to develop. And why do we call the 4 archangels archangels? Because back in the day, when those texts were written, they were the ones, or they were the spirits that travel the most and then came back to tell and show others how far they have traveled in those specific directions, in those specific ways of being. Ways of being, the ways of your being, of your spirit, right? The 4 cardinal ways, the 4 cardinal directions, right? So basically, an archangel is just literally, or of course, it goes deeper than that. But basically, it's just a spirit that is more aware, or can be more aware than everybody else around them. But with great power comes great responsibility. Because if you are an archangel, or if a spirit is an archangel, you are really the most knowledgeable or the most aware in a specific perspective, in a specific part of the spectrum of being, of existence. So by default, you're gonna be a teacher, not a preacher. Because we in the Western society got used to a teacher being superior to you, they're talking to you, it's talking to a bunch of kids. But you can be a teacher by doing something, by not doing something, by hiding something, right? And then when somebody finds something else, they can put two pieces together and understand why you were not doing, or why you were hiding something in that place, right? You can be still a teacher by speaking, but you might imagine you might be holding a conversation with somebody, and the witness is witnessing you being your goddamn self, and they get inspired. So you can be a teacher just by being, and you are. If you being yourself, you're always being a teacher, right? But also as an archangel, you will come across, and it will be harder for you to understand people that don't go as further as you in a certain perspective, and it will be even harder for you to understand demons. And what are demons, quote unquote? We'll have a video about that on channel as well. So if an angel is a spirit that looks for the best way to do something, the most balanced and sophisticated and more unique and individual way to do something, a demon is the opposite. So a demon, a day and the moon, a sun and the moon, they let the physical world, the desires, take care of themselves or take over themselves. So a demon is somebody that enjoys repetition, comfort, familiarity. They will sacrifice themselves and others for physical gain, for a sense of security, for a sense of safety, for a sense of relatability. And look, angels do that too, but it's like they never sacrifice themselves. They will still prioritize or try to achieve a sense of relatability and a sense of validation, but they will never sacrifice themselves and their principles. And an angel will sacrifice the desire, an angel will sacrifice the physical realm to prevail and maintain their sense of self and their principles and their core set of values. But the demon will sell those and sell others, right, to achieve a physical gain, right? A demon will be the crab in the bucket that grabs others because they can't climb, themselves can't climb, so they will pull the others that are climbing. Because a demon will never be happy when others are succeeding, but there are different degrees of being a demon, right? Normal people are most times demons, and as a spirit, you are both, but you change between angelics and demons, right? So, if an archangel has trouble recognizing demons, that means that an archangel will have tough times with normal people. And it's not because the normal people, quote unquote, or the demons are wrong, they're being themselves. They are on their own journey. They're doing what they need to do in order to develop. But the archangel, because they went so far ahead and then came back, they'd be like, why are they doing that? Like, they don't see, they don't understand, they don't... No, they don't, because they are not archangels. And that goes for angels too, because angels, or if you are more angelic, you do certain angles, you go to certain spaces that the demons don't, because they are afraid, because they don't know how to, because once they were but they crashed, or they had a weird experience, so their spirit is still recovering from that travel, they made a weird angle, and they went against a stronger spirit, and then they got traumatized, right? But sometimes archangels have some trouble dealing with that, or dealing with normality, or dealing with demons, spirits that stand in... For example, a lesser degree of a demon is a spirit that spends a lot of time in the same space. An angel is always... That's why it's called an angle or an angel, because you're moving a lot, so you're doing different angles, you're going in different directions. While a favorite pattern for a demon is a circle. There is no rough angles, There is no rough interactions, and you're always coming back to places where you were familiar, right? Of course, this is all metaphoric and allegoric, but I think you can understand what I mean. So as an archangel, you have to be even more into understanding that others are not as wise as you are, but you can still interact with them, you can still be a figure of inspiration, and you are. The thing is, a lot of people that are archangels, or they are close, they are like higher angels, they made great angles and they obtained / create great perspectives, sometimes they feel left out, which is completely okay and it's completely normal. Because the more individual you get, the harder it will be to connect with the masses. Because the goal then, when you get real individual, is to find other spirits that are real individual too and relate with you. But some higher angels and some archangels, they start hating on the demons. And you can't, because you are on this world, they are on this world. We created this world together. So yeah, you don't need to be their best friends, you don't even need to interact with them. Sometimes you do, because we're all here together, but you can be hating and hurting them and manipulating them, because you have more perspectives, and then you became a demon lord or a demon king, which is once were an archangel and did a huge arc positively upwards, quote unquote, and then you were not able to balance yourself out with the world, and then you do an archangel negatively downwards, so you become an archdemon. And that's when you use your power and perspective as an archangel to do things to demons or as demons do, but you will always go deeper, you will always go further. So you'll be even worse of a demon than the demons that you're complaining about. And remember, I don't want you to associate demon with a bad word. No, sometimes you can be the most spiritual person, you'll be a demon sometime. You'll eat 3 burgers instead of 1 burger, or you'll drink 3 sodas and you just needed 1 soda. So bro, sometimes we have to be demons too, because we're creating the spiritual, we're creating the physical out of the spiritual, and sometimes you have to go a bit too much into the physical to learn what are you creating, to remember why are we here, why are we creating these things. But that's for another video, right? So an archangel always have to remind themselves that they don't need to lower themselves down, but they need to have even more compassion and more comprehension for the demons around them. Because they're demons, because that's how far they can go, basically. You know what I'm saying? So what are archangels? They are spirits that made an archangle, so they went above everything else and every space else that other spirits have been into. So they can see further, they can travel further before coming down to rest, and they can be an example of how to do something in a broader scale, how to understand and see things in a broader scale. You know what I'm saying? And just to conclude, that you remember when I was talking about angels and archangels that start hitting on the demons? That's the biblical representations when angels start doing weird stuff to humans in the Bible. Or there was even a movie about that. Like there was, I think, Archangel Michael was sent by God to like kill a baby or something. That it's a representation of when a wise spirit, a very wise spirit, will fail to understand themselves and all possibilities, so they become being an archdemon. You know what I'm saying? And there are a lot of biblical passages where the angels starting attacking the humans. So that happens within you as well. When you have this new experience or this new perspective, but you can't relate with your old experiences and how you obtain safety, structure, and privacy. So then you become being really weird towards yourself and the ones around you. You know what I'm saying? So an archangel is a spirit that has been as furthest as no other spirit has been in a specific spiritual location. Thank you for watching. Your support is greatly appreciated. leave a like and subscribe. Use the links down below to reach more of my content, to reach and contact me for readings and consultations. And I wish you the best thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions, and a whole bunch of individuality, creativity, and responsibility as well. See you on the next time.